Hey y'all, Jay Nice on the mic back again. So I had a chance to watch Black is King. And so if you have not seen Black is King, you want to stop this video, pause this video rather, go watch Black is King and come back because there's going to be a little bit of spoilers in this review of Black is King. So, for those of y'all who don't know, I am probably like many of y'all a Beyonce stan. I consider myself a Beehive member. So I thought it was necessary to watch Black is King to support my girl. So I wanted to give my review, and I wrote an article about my thoughts around Black is King, and I'm gonna leave the article down below for y'all to read. But yeah, a lot of these thoughts I kind of articulated it in the article, and those of y'all who know me know I am much better with writing. I think I am a very strong writer, and so my thoughts were just all over the place. But I watched it. Let me just tell y'all, there were several moments in Black is King that I wanted to cry because I felt like it was so beautiful, and as a Black woman, I felt like she did a really excellent job with the messaging behind Black is King. I thought it was excellent because we all know that colorism is a really big issue in the media. Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's father, has said in previous interviews that part of Beyonce's success could be attributed to the fact that she is a beautiful light-skinned woman. Her mother, Tina Knowles, is, or could be back in the day, she could have been white passing. She's a very beautiful woman still. I believe her mom is half white, but Beyonce has Creole origins. She's a beautiful woman, all of these things. So, that was probably a contributor to her success. So I love the fact that in the video, there were very few lighter skinned women. And I feel like us light skinned women have gotten a lot of attention in the media when it comes to movies, when it comes to just any sort of within the entertainment industry. So I really appreciated the fact that she chose to highlight the beauty of deeper skin tones and deeper hues. So I really appreciated that. I love the colors and the wardrobe. So what I'm going to do first is talk about what I loved about it, right? I love the color, the wardrobe. It was so vibrant. All of this, the Afro futurism. It was very Black Panther ish or esque. And I didn't watch the 2019 Lion King. I told myself whenever I have kids, I'm going to watch the newer version with them. But of course, I watched Lion King as a kid. Don't quite remember. We all know like Simba, the dad died, all of that. I don't really remember because it's been so long. But I like the fact that she sort of tied in the Lion King story with her own story. There were biblical references with Moses and all of that. So I found it to be really interesting. There was also tie-ins with the Yoruba religion and Yoruba spirituality and traditional African religions, which I really appreciated. I thought it was really interesting that if you notice in all of the pictures, and I only watched it once, so I probably need to rewatch it, but in all of the pictures, Beyonce was like Jesus. So she was like this divine feminine archetype, and there was a lot of water. I have to go back and look up the symbolism of different colors, but there was a lot of green, and green is a symbol for fertility and for health. And so there was a lot of green. There was a lot of water, which is like refreshing, renewal, energy. So there was so much to unpack, and that's why I need to go back and rewatch it. But I thought she did an amazing job. After I watched it, logged on to social media and saw a bunch of different critiques, which sort of opened my eyes to something that I didn't initially notice. So one of the main critiques, and there's many different critiques that I've read about Black is King, but one of the main critiques was that Beyonce centered herself as a lighter skinned woman. She centered herself throughout the entire visual album. So if you go back and rewatch in every single scene, Beyonce was at the center. and there were other African women or women of African descent around her who were of darker complexions. So in the critiques that I've seen, people have kind of said, why is Beyonce centering herself? Is there a way she could have created this visual album without putting herself at the center? I thought that was an interesting critique, and absolutely she's at the center, but I also feel like it's her visual album and she's the star. And honestly, I'm watching for Beyonce. I'm not watching for all of these other people, even though I love, y'all may or may not know this, I love Afro beats. So I loved to see there was a Cameroonian artist, Salatel, I think is how you pronounce his name, but in the song Water with Pharrell, the song that goes, baby boy, I might drink from the water, babe. And y'all know I'm not a good singer, but it was Pharrell, this other artist, Salatel, he's actually Cameroonian. So I love that she had him. She had Yemi Alade. She had T.Y. Savage, I believe. She had all of these different African artists she's highlighting. So I appreciated that, but I wasn't watching Black is King for them. I was watching it for Beyonce because she's a performer. She's an entertainer. I wanted to see her. So I pushed back a little bit on the critique, but that she centered herself. But I do think it deserves examination because Beyonce is, again, a lighter skinned woman at the center, and all of the darker skinned women were around her. So was there a way, I guess an interesting question is, was there a way for Beyonce to create this beautiful, beautiful piece of art without putting herself at the center? I think there was, but I think that what I appreciated was that Beyonce was a focal point. And I say that because, I love Beyonce as the entertainer, and I think that regardless of the color of her skin, and I do feel like her being a lighter skinned and she's arguably the most beautiful woman in the world. I think she's the most beautiful woman in the world. And her proximity to whiteness does make her more palatable. She has softer hair. She has more Eurocentric phenotype. Her features are not Afrocentric. She doesn't have a wide nose. She doesn't have thick lips. She doesn't have, and I think that her proximity to whiteness is what makes her palatable and what has propelled her career. However, I feel like what has kept her successful is her work ethic, her voice. She has an amazing voice. Her dancing, Beyonce is not, and I say this as a Beehive member, we all can acknowledge Beyonce, her strong suit is not acting, but her singing, her dancing, the overall ambiance of Beyonce is just what makes her so amazing. So I think that, yes, there is something to be said about the fact that colorism is rampant in the Black community and in entertainment, and Beyonce may not have been as successful initially in her career if she didn't look the way that she did, but I think that her staying power lies in the fact that she's consistent and she's talented, and I don't want anyone to take that away from her, and I think you cannot take that away from her. However, I just found that critique to be interesting. I think that perhaps there was a way, again, and I would have to really think about how she could decenter herself while also being present. So thought that was interesting. I saw some other critiques that she's perpetuating capitalism, and it's, people were critiquing Beyonce because Disney Plus is not available in a lot of African countries. So people were saying, why are you creating this beautiful piece of art about honoring and paying homage to African culture, yet it's not even available in most parts of Africa. And I think that that's a bone that we need to be picking more so with Disney Plus rather than Beyonce, although obviously it was her choice to create the visual album on the platform. So I think that there's definitely some weight to that argument. But I think it's interesting. What I also think is interesting is that it's Black Americans who are making critiques about Beyonce sort of capitalizing off of African culture. And I've heard even some people go as far to say that she is culturally appropriating African culture, and I don't think it's possible to appropriate your own culture. Some people say maybe she's capitalizing off of the moment because being black and being African is hot now and is the thing. And I've probably spoken about this in previous videos, but I think that that's an interesting sentiment. But I appreciate the fact that as a first generation African, or I'm sorry, American, my parents are from Cameroon. I think that what she's doing is amazing. She's putting a spotlight on artists and on designers that were not getting the shine prior to. She's working with these artists that she doesn't need to be working with, So I appreciate her in that fact. She has Shatta Wale, who is a huge Ghanaian artist, and she's putting these people on the map. I knew of Shatta Wale because I'm immersed in Afrobeats, and I love Afrobeats. But if I wasn't listening to it, I'd be like, Shatta Wale, who's that? So, again, I don't think that anything's wrong with her taking this moment to appreciate. I don't think she's capitalizing off of her own culture, but I think that I can appreciate the light that she's shining on the amazingness of Africa and the fact that, a lot of people associate Africa with huts and with starving people. And I think she's showing people a side of Africa that they may not know and they might not understand really exists. So I appreciated the work of art for what it is. And I pushed back a little bit on the critiques that she is centering herself. I think that that critique deserves a little bit more examination. She was at the center, but I do think that it would be hard to decenter herself as the star. But I want to hear what y'all think. And again, I need to rewatch and pick some more, pick some more gems up out of it. But I'm really interested to hear your thoughts about Black is King. It made me proud. I was already, y'all know me. I'm like pro Black to the max. I'm proud to be Black, but it made me even more proud to be Black. And watching the brown skin girl rendition with Naomi Campbell and Kelly Rowland, and her just really appreciating brown skin made me again. But I'm also a Beyonce stan and a Beehive member. So y'all know I could be biased. I took a more unbiased stance in the article that I wrote, which is down below in the description box. I tried to, present a very objective argument and see things from multiple sides. But that is where I'm going to wrap up this video. I would love to hear what y'all think. And I will check y'all out in the next video.